This is One Sentence News, a daily podcast featuring 3 news stories with a sentence-long summary and 1 sentence of context apiece. I'm Colin Wright. It's Wednesday, February 9th, 2022. Let's talk about the news. From Al Jazeera, 13 million face hunger in Horn of Africa as drought worsens. The United Nations World Food Program has said that an estimated 13 million people living in southeastern Ethiopia, southeastern and northern Kenya, and south-central Somalia face extreme hunger due to drought conditions that have been ongoing for years and which seem primed to worsen in the coming months. 3 rainy seasons worth of droughts have created a cascade of famine-related impacts in this region, with harvests, livestock, and water resources all depleted, inflation hitting food staples hard, malnutrition rates high and still rising, and regular bouts of armed violence blocking supply routes, destroying infrastructure, and killing already weakened locals. Outside aid meant to help those who are suffering has also been regularly blocked by militant groups and armed conflicts. From the Associated Press, governors in 4 states plan for end-to-school mask mandates. The governors of Connecticut, Delaware, New Jersey, and Oregon have all announced plans to do away with statewide mask mandates at schools in the next month or 2, despite continued high numbers of infections and deaths caused by COVID. This is an interesting story because these are Democratic governors who have been fairly ardent in their support for at times quite stern mask mandates and other pandemic-related restrictions. And they're saying that rapidly decreasing infection numbers paired with what we're seeing elsewhere in countries that had their Omicron waves before we did indicates we can probably relatively safely return to something close to normal in some aspects of life, because the risks associated with some activities are now acceptable trade-offs for the benefits gained. And since children are relatively less prone to bad COVID infections in general, Omicron is less virulent than other variants, and many kids can now get vaccinations if they want them. It would seem to be a good time to send kids back to a more normal type of school setup because of that risk-reward ratio. And from the New York Times, Israel to investigate domestic use of Pegasus spyware as scrutiny hits home. The Israeli government has announced it will investigate reports that the Israeli police have used spyware produced by homegrown cyber espionage company NSO Group on Israeli citizens without a court order, which would be illegal. NSO Group has been under a microscope globally as we've learned more about their operations and who's been targeted by their proprietary Pegasus software kit, which allows their customers, supposedly only governments approved by the Israeli government, to hack most smartphones undetected for an array of data stealing and person tracking purposes. Now, though, in addition to all the foreign journalists, activists, and exes of powerful people around the world who have allegedly been hacked by NSO customers, Israeli citizens may have also been hacked, including a key witness in the ongoing corruption trial of former Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. If you're finding some value in One Sentence News, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and/or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com, and you can support this and other related projects like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts at understandery.com.